You're listening to Parenting in the Rain, Insights from the Experts podcast, episode 34.
Welcome to Parenting in the Rain, Insights from the Experts podcast, providing parents all around the world with valuable knowledge to help with the biggies of family life. Here's your host, a registered play therapist, education specialist, parent coach, and my mom, Jackie Flynn.
Hi there, Jackie Flynn here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Parenting in the Rain podcast. I can't believe that we're at episode 34 already. Oh my goodness, this has went by so fast. I launched the podcast in January, and here we are at the time of this recording, the tail end of August. I have met so many amazing people, learned so many amazing things, and I just love connecting with you. So this has been such a wonderful journey. And Monday is my birthday. I'm just thinking about telling the end of August. My birthday's coming up, and it kind of gives me a little reflection on where I am at this point in my life, and I feel pretty good. Well, today we're in for such a treat. I have a conversation with Neal from Relax for Life, the number 4. He sells Labyrinths, and I bought a Labyrinth from him years ago. I worked in the school system as a school counselor and a teacher, and then I moved into private practice, and I absolutely love using Labyrinths with myself, my family, as well as my clients. In fact, I use a Labyrinth in almost every single session. So you'll hear Neal talk about other ways to use it, as well as all of the different kinds of Labyrinths. And if you would like to order one, I became an affiliate of him because I really love his products. And actually, it's the only thing that I have a partnership as terms of like affiliate relationship with at this point, because it's just something that I absolutely love, and I find myself recommending it to my clients and to parents that I run into as a way to help people focus and gain that clarity and the calmness in their life. So if you would like to purchase some for yourself, or one, or ever how many you may be interested in, you can find them at www.relax4, the number 4, life.com/jf.html. Again, that's www.relax4life.com/jf.html. All right, here is my conversation with Neal from Relax for Life. Well, hello, Neal. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Jackie.
So let's just jump right in. Let me have you introduce yourself. Tell us about the work that you do and your passions.
Certainly. Well, I started working with Labyrinths back in 1995. I began exploring what would Labyrinths be able to do with people experiencing life-challenging illnesses in hospital settings. And that pretty much led me to being able to lead workshops, to creating wood and plastic finger labyrinth designs, to developing manuals for creating outdoor labyrinths in a step-by-step fashion. It led me to doing research with children battling attention deficit disorder, ADHD. And so this has been a wonderful journey for me. And I've also had an opportunity to write and get published in professional journals on the idea of using labyrinths in counseling. So that in a nutshell is what I've been up to for the past 20 years in working specifically with labyrinths in their many forms and in their many uses.
Oh, that's so exciting, especially the research piece. I know when I found your website, I was real excited, and when I got my Labyrinth in the mail, I was practically jumping up and down and shared it with my teacher friends and stuff. So super cool stuff. I use them all the time. So tell us, you talked about like the finger labyrinths, the larger labyrinths, and the outdoor labyrinths. Give us an idea about how they work and what they're used for. You talked about ADHD too. I love all that.
Okay, well, thank you, Jackie. And really, labyrinths have been used for over 4,000 years to assist with relaxation, meditation, enhancing one's prayer life. The idea of following a path that does not have any blind alleys or dead ends, like a maze. So labyrinths do not have any of that. There's simply a path that leads from the outside of the design to the center. No blind alleys, no dead ends to trick the mind. So the conscious mind has an opportunity to just rest. And in that rest, people find that they're able to connect more deeply with their own inner awareness, wisdom, and as well connect to their divinity, their divine source. So sometimes they'll find that they'll get inspiration when they walk labyrinths or finger walk labyrinths. They'll find that they can ask a question at the beginning of the path. And as they wind through a labyrinth pattern, they often will receive an answer to some difficult issue or something where they've been looking to get more insight into a question or a problem in their life. And this is just a really great way to be able to get into that deeper knowing part of yourself. So people have used them as oracles for thousands of years to help with that process.
Describe oracle. What do you mean by that?
An oracle, a place where you can ask a question and be connected with divinity, whatever you believe that to be, whether it's inside yourself or a god or goddess that's outside yourself, and be able to stay open and receive answers to questions or issues or prayers that you have posed to that divinity of choice.
I know, like, before every session that I have, I bring them into the expressive arts therapy studio, have them sprinkle sand on it, and have them use it mainly as a grounding device. But I do see that it provides that clarity, and it's a great starting point for the beginning of the session. And at the end of the session, to kind of pull them back in a way to where they can calm and go out and after getting into the tough stuff.
Nice.
So you talked about the different types of labyrinths. I'm familiar with the handheld labyrinth and the double labyrinth that you hold in your hand, but the outdoor labyrinth, so much I'm not familiar with. Can you speak to how that works?
Sure. Well, it's a path that's either inlaid into the ground. Typically, there's brick to outline the path, or there's stones or bushes or some other type of three-dimensional object that allows you to follow a path. And so the interesting thing about using a walking labyrinth happens when you walk with others. Some of the people that I've come across have said, I love walking a labyrinth by myself. But that's not where the magic happens. That's where you get to relax and connect with yourself. But where the magic happens with a walking labyrinth is when you're walking with others and you begin to notice things about other people that you don't like. You might have the thought as you're walking solemnly through a labyrinth, because that's the way that your pastor has taught you to walk it, or it's at your church, or it's at a recreation center or a school, and that's what you've been taught to do. And you look over and you see a man or a woman dancing through a labyrinth, or humming or singing, or crawling or jumping or hopping or skipping. And you think to yourself, oh my goodness, that's so irreverent. Why would they do that? And so what that basically is showing you is parts of yourself where you're a little bit closed off, where you have made a decision. Maybe it's something that you were told as a child where this is a very reverent thing to do. If you're walking through a church, you're quiet, you don't speak, you don't hum, you don't skip or hop. Yeah. You simply walk in reverence. And so some of this stuff from childhood kind of gets locked into us as adults. So this is an opportunity for the Labyrinth to kind of hold up a magnifying mirror in front of ourselves when we walk it with others. And when we get irked by something someone is doing in the Labyrinth, that's an opportunity to see the parts of ourselves that we are cut off from, that the things that we don't like about ourselves that we kind of push into our unconscious so we don't have to look at it. And when we see it in others, that's really a gift. That's an opportunity for us to begin to see the things in our lives that we don't want to look at.
Wow, that can really make your life richer and open you up to new experiences.
Especially if some of these things, Jackie, are things that are keeping us from being more satisfied, having a happier life experience. So the Labyrinth gives us a choice at that point. It shows us what's deep within that we don't like about ourselves, and it gives us the opportunity to make a change.
Oh, that's awesome. I know we have one about an hour away from here, and I considered going. So, yeah, that sounds amazing. I didn't realize that it got that deep into it. About when you talk about the variety of labyrinths, you talk about the handheld ones and the walk-in ones. Are there any other kinds other than those?
Certainly. In different churches, for example, in Europe and other places, Italy, you will find labyrinth designs that are small, that are way at the top of the roof of a cathedral, like 50, 60, 70 feet. And so when you think about it, there's no functional reason for them to be there. But labyrinths have a certain energy. And I think ancient peoples recognized that. And so to have a labyrinth in the space, any space, makes it more sacred.
And when you talk about that, that's certainly a historical piece of kind of starting it off back in the ages and like a faith-based background, but now you bring it to the present. And you said you even did some studies on how people with ADHD can use it. Let's speak to that a little bit.
Certainly, I'd be happy to. So about 8 years ago now, I started a 4-year national research study to determine if a finger labyrinth design that had a mirror image labyrinth inlaid into a particular board, be it wood or plastic, where a child would be able to use both hands at the same time, moving from the outside of the design to the center and back again, to determine if doing that 3 to 5 times a week for just 5 minutes at a time could actually assist in the behaviors that we normally associate with ADHD, that we look to drugs and other things to try to quell or to reduce. And so this study showed that there is definitely a reduction in these types of behaviors by using a double finger labyrinth design. And we know from research coming out of physical therapy and occupational therapy from the last century that when you move both sides of the body at the same time, you activate and balance the left and right sides of the brain. So when you're talking about kids, when you activate and balance both sides of the brain by using a double finger labyrinth pattern, what you're actually increasing is their ability to relax, to focus, to develop greater adaptive responses where they're not reacting to their environment so much, but they're thinking through what might be if I behave in a particular way, what are the consequences? So they begin to reason and think through and give themselves an opportunity to make changes in their behavior. So all of that seems to be wrapped up in what we did in that 4-year national research study.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's kind of like their left hemisphere and their right hemisphere kind of working together more in synchronicity than it would have been before they used it. Is it something that you recommend using daily?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, a number of teachers who have our double finger labyrinth designs, they keep them at school. And for some kids who need a timeout, they will simply say, okay, it's time to go use the labyrinth. And rather than putting them in a corner or separating them from the rest of the students, they'll simply have the student go back, get the labyrinth, bring it back to their chair, and move their fingers through it. And they find that that can really help refocus a child. They've also found that right after recess, if they have a number of finger labyrinths in the classroom, they find that the kids are much more focused, much more quickly to get back to their studies after recess or lunch or whatever it might be. So a lot of...
Resets them.
Pardon?
Like pushing the reset button, getting them back on task.
Exactly. So whether kids have any kind of attention deficit or they're simply looking to study better for a test, whether they are having an issue with their brother or sister, whatever it might be, these labyrinths seem to be very, very helpful in opening up the possibility of looking at a particular situation differently, especially for kids. Oh, that's awesome. Now, I know you have like smaller ones. I'm going to pull up your website and share the screen, but you have small ones that they can even fit into their backpack and kind of pull out themselves as well. Yeah.
You said that would be something for kiddos to check with the teacher, to make sure that's all right so it doesn't look like a toy, but the benefits are just amazing. Is there anything else before we pull up your website, anything else that I didn't ask that you feel is helpful for people to know? Therapists and parents?
Yes. The idea of using a double finger labyrinth by an individual is one thing, to balance left and right brain activity.
Yeah.
But the other function of it is to sit across from another individual, and through the relaxation that each part of the board or each side of the board affords, because each one has its own labyrinth pattern, what tends to occur is there is a greater intuitive communication and connection that occurs between folks. So whether it's husband and wife, either by themselves or in let's say, a marital therapy situation, where you're getting people to be on the same page with one another energetically and philosophically. A double labyrinth pattern can help with that. If you're in a corporation and you've got some research and development people who they're not quite on the same page with one another, the opportunity to work together on the same double labyrinth pattern can help them kind of come into sync energetically and philosophically. So there's a lot of possibilities here with labyrinths. And again, simply relaxation, enhancing meditation, enhancing your prayer life, regardless of what religion you practice. Because labyrinths aren't about religion. They've been practiced by all religions and all cultures, really since the beginning of time.
Man, that goes way back. Now, I have used it with siblings before. I have the big double labyrinth. I love it. And also I've used it with parent-child for attunement to really get them kind of at the beginning of the session, we used it for the grounding, but I'll pull it out in the middle of the session if there's more than one people. Not every time, more than one person, but it definitely kind of slows things down too and gets them moving together. That you said synchronicity, that in sync piece. Absolutely. Okay, so let me share the screen. And as you know, before the technology is something that is, let me see if I can pull up your website to show.
And if I may say, for folks who are looking for a Labyrinth experience, but they don't have the funding to be able to purchase a finger labyrinth, or they don't have a walking labyrinth in their area, we do offer free downloads of various designs on our website, where you can print out a paper finger labyrinth, and you can have your children color it in, or you can color it in as an adult. Adult coloring books are pretty popular these days.
Oh yeah,
and you can get the experience of a finger labyrinth without having to put out the money to purchase a finger labyrinth. So that's under our resources tab on our website.
Mm-hmm. And your website is relax4life.com with the number 4. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to share the screen. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I definitely will have a link where I share this video as well to your website. And then I have a link that you provided to me, an affiliate link that I share my favorite labyrinths too. So whoever's watching this will be able to kind of look at both of them and see what works best for them, or to download some of the free stuff that you said as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So I don't think I'll be able to share the screen without a risk of losing our connection here. So, well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, Neal, and I really appreciate it. And the reason why I wanted to bring you on is because I've seen such change in my own work with my clients and myself. So it's something that I really feel like is good to share with therapists and parents out there. It's a really, when you look at it, an inexpensive tool, especially the free ones. But I think I paid $50 for mine, and I've had it for about 2.5 years now, and I couldn't imagine not using it in practice now. So I think that is something that is so worth the investment, because it can really open people up to so much growth and clarity.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, yes. And we do our best to have a whole range of pricing and sizes for people to make it to where it is comfortable for people to be able to get the benefit of these labyrinths.
Yes, especially you put free resources up there, and then you do workshops as well. That's cool. Are your workshops just in person, or do you have anything available via internet?
Have not gotten to that technologically savvy part of myself yet. Yeah. So they're all in person at this point.
I know I'm trying to push myself in that technological part, and it is not an easy road. I should have used a Labyrinth before this.
Thank you, Jackie. It's been a great pleasure being on your show.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye, Neal.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Now, if you're interested in purchasing a Labyrinth for yourself, I picked out the ones that I personally recommend, and you can find that at that link that I gave you early on, www.relax4life.com/jf.html. Again, that's www.relax4life.com/jf.html. And you can also find that link in the show notes at parentingintherain.com. parentingintherain.com. And when you go to parentingintherain.com, take a look at the other episodes if you haven't done so already. I have a lot of variety of topics that are helpful for parents and caregivers. Also, if you're an iTunes user, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to Parenting in the Rain podcast and leave me a comment. I read each one of them myself, and I absolutely love hearing from you. All right, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, take care.